Hey everybody, welcome back to my shop. I hope everybody's enjoying the video so far. We got a lot planned, a lot of videos ahead, a lot of projects, a lot of things to do. One of the things that I have to do that I've been putting off all this time, a few weeks ago you did see that I built a barn style gate for my dogs. Well, on the other side of the house between my kitchen and my dining room, I have another opening which is more of a traditional style door opening, other than the one that you saw where I had that was really large opening. So you have the one opening on one side, and then you have a small opening from the dining room into the family room on the other side. So for that one, I'm going to do, and I'm going to title this one Baby Gate, because you can also make this, for children. And I'm going to make it a shaker style type with recessed panels. It's going to look like basically like a one big cabinet door with a stile in the middle. And we're going to have panels, 1/4-inch panels in between. I had some 4/4 poplar that I bought on Friday at my hardwood dealer, and it was in rough shape. So I milled it down, and I got it down to, right now it's at 13/16, and we're going for 3/4, but I let it sit overnight with the sticks in between so you can see that. And I'm checking the moisture content, which I often do, but I don't do on camera. And just to make sure, to show you that this is working correctly, you can just, you don't have to break your skin, but you just touch it and you see the electrical content in your body. The current will change the moisture, and that's how it measures in the wood. So what we're going to do here is now we're going to check on the side of the wood here. This is after milling it, so now I'm reading 0%. So this wood is actually bone dry and ready to go. I'm going to read it on the face. So we have 0. Normally, if you get some wood that you mill down, depending on how long it's been sitting after they have milled it at the, off the log at the sawmill, like I get these boards. These boards have been sitting for a very long time. That's why they're at 0 moisture content. So they're bone dry and they're not going to move. So the first thing I'm going to do is take them to the miter saw, trim one edge square, flip it over with a stop block, and cut it to length. Now the stiles and rails on this project are going to be 2 1/4 inches wide. So I'm going to just rip those pieces all down now with the table saw. Now that all the parts have cut to their final dimensions, I'll lay them out and mark what everything is. This way I can move them off to the side and get them ready for reassembly. I'm gluing up the support braces for the hardware into an L shape, and that's going to give me a way to screw it to the wall and also to attach the hinges later on and the latch. I'll do a quick dry fit here, and then I'll measure and mark the center of the stiles and then transfer those lines over the rails. And then that's going to give me the placement I need for the dowel joiner. And now I'll clamp everything down and drill the holes for the dowels on all the parts. Alright, so when you're doing things like that and you need to take the pieces apart, something I like to mention, which is really good to do, is to label everything. So you can see here on each piece, I labeled them with letters. You can do it with numbers, but you just got to make sure you match everything up. So I know that's the top rail because that's got B and D on it. This will be D matched with D. So I know that goes there. Okay, this is C, so I know that in the center over there is C, and B to B, and then A to A, F to F, and E to E. So everything's going to go back exactly the way it came apart, and I don't have to sit here and wonder what the hell I did. Now I'm just going to take a pencil, and I need to run a groove on all of these pieces. I want to run the groove centered in all of the pieces. So just by eyeballing, I'm just going to use a pencil and I'm going to just scribe a line in all of the pieces. And not only is this going to give me a reference point, it's going to let me know what side I need to cut that groove on when I get over to the table. So sometimes you switch the piece around and then you put it up against the fence the wrong way, and then you cut the groove on the outside, and now you're screwed because you have your joinery on the inside. So best thing to do, mark it. Now the center stile is going to get a groove in both pieces because that's going to have panel on each side. So remember, your groove's always going to be on the inside.
Now I'll use the inside and outside blade on my dado stack to give me a perfect 1/4 of an inch for the 1/4 inch plywood that I'm going to use for the recessed panels.
So usually I would take the inside measurement here and then add 3/8 and 3/8, which is 3/4, and let's say you had 20 inches in between, then it would be, the panel would be 20 and 3/4, just a little shy, give it a little room, you know, wiggle room to float it in there, and for the top and the bottom do the same thing. But another cool trick you can do, now you've seen me take 2 pieces of wood, put them in between, clamp together, take it out, and measure end to end. That's also another thing you can do, like a story stick. But an easy way to do it is, if you don't want to do any math, just take your finger, put the pencil on the inside of the groove, bottom it out in the groove, and then press your finger up against the workpiece, and then hold it in place, take it out, put it to the end of the workpiece, and then just trace it along the stile, and you have, make sure your pencil's sharp when you do this, and then you're going to have, where the groove is, you're going to have a line there. You can do the same on this side, bottom it out in the groove, put your finger against it, run a line, and now you can do the same thing for the top and the bottom also. You're just going to take your tape measure, you're going to go to that line, to the line, and here we have 15 1/4. So what I'm going to do is just take a little less than like a 32nd, like a 64th of an inch off of that. So instead of the 15 1/4, I'm going to go just shy of 15 1/4. This way I have some wiggle room for the panel to slide right in without being forced up against the sides. Now I'll do the same for the top and the bottom here to get my perfect cut.
And now the dry fit went well, so it's time for some assembly here. I'm going to glue in the dowels, and then we'll start to assemble it in a specific order, and we'll clamp everything up overnight.
Now that I have it set up in the clamps, definitely want to check square. I'm going to go from corner to corner diagonal. That will give me the measurement that I need to see if one of the sides is off, if I have to put a clamp to kind of jolt it one way or the other. So this is 49 1/8. It's dead square.
And now the moment I've been waiting for, time to use the new tool. I just got this new 2550 drum sander, and I'm going to pass it through here. It has a cantilever head, so I drop the table down a couple of thousandths of an inch, and I can pass it through one way, then rotate it around, pass it through the other way, and it'll level everything off and not have a crown in the middle, making life easy. Once I passed it through the drum sander with the 80 grit, I used a random orbital sander with 120 grit to finish it off, make it nice and smooth, and then just break the edges by hand. And now it's ready for a prime coat and an additional 3 coats of latex acrylic paint. And now I'll screw the brace into the wall that's going to accept the hinges first. I'll install the hinges, and then I'll install the door. I'm installing the door, and then I'll install the side brace that's going to hold the latch. This way I can make it perfectly level, just in case the walls are out of whack, which you know they always are.
All right, guys, well, that's it. That was a really fun project, and that's all wrapped up. A little bit of a different approach with the recessed panel there, other, than the barn door style that I did with the slats in the middle last week on the other side of the house. So I had real fun with that, and I like the way the project came out. It was a lot of fun to build. I hope you guys enjoyed the project as much as I did, and make sure you subscribe, hit that little notification bell so every time I upload it, you will be notified. Also, make sure you hit the like button. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I also want to mention with this project, there was different ways that you can do it. You don't have to use a dowel jig or a dowel machine like I did. There are different ways to do it. The most common way being most people have a pocket hole jig. You can use pocket screws for this project, especially since it was a painted project. You can fill those pocket holes with the dowel plugs, and then you can cover over it with a little bit of either joint compound or some wood filler, and then when you sand it down, it's really seamless, and then you paint over it, you'll never know there was a hole there at all. So that's really quick. It helps you with the measurements too, because you don't have to, there's no math involved. But if you choose to do, another way to do it would be mortise and tenon, which is the real traditional, and I think the strongest woodworking joinery out there. So that's what I would do if I didn't have that machine, but that thing saved me a lot of time. I mean, listen, it's not great, it's not accurate as much as a domino would be. It's definitely not, it doesn't make everything completely flush, but it is fast and it's accurate enough where you can do small projects like that. I wouldn't do it using that machine per se on professional cabinetry in someone's home. I would definitely invest in a domino for that, or use my biscuit joiner, or just use traditional mortise and tenon for that. And if it was painted project, probably use pocket screws, which could be hidden also to save me time. All right, guys, so thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.